Hello and welcome my fab fans to Glam's new video. So I was just at the eye doctor's and I got my eyes dilated. When I can tell you that wearing my glasses means I can see things that are farther away easier, but whenever I'm trying to look at something nearby, it becomes nothingness, but fuzzy blurriness. So I can either see my computer screen and to see if I'm recording properly, or I can see my hands and what I'm doing. So I choose the latter and we'll struggle through. Regardless of what I do, I won't be able to see, regardless of what I do. So okay. Me struggling to see what I'm doing the whole time is going to be a whole vibe that y'all will just have to deal with. You know what? If I make something that's even like half way decent, I'm gonna be okay. I do not recommend going to the eye doctors and getting your eyes dilated for a procedure if you do not have a person to drive you home. I had to drive myself home. So what I did was I put a pair of sunglasses over my prescription glasses. Turns out I'm really fucking blind without my glasses, so I have to find a way to wear both sunglasses and my glasses if I'm ever going to see if my eyes are dilated. If I want to be able to see when my eyes are dilated, is the better way to pronounce that. Um, it hurts to see. Like, if I could have just kept my eyes closed the whole time on the way home, I would have rather. But I don't have anyone who can bring me home from the eye doctors, so I just have to suffer through and exist. So, luckily, my next time I have to go to the eye doctors, I won't have to get my eyes dilated. Everything became so much yellow when I had to just exist in the eye doctor's office. Does anyone else know how it feels to just see the world becoming progressively more yellow? I felt like something was wrong. Everything was turning yellow. Maybe it was just the lighting that was in the eye doctor's office that made it that way. The reason I have a lot of trust issues is because of how many people were backstabbers to me. And didn't see what I actually meant and only saw their anger. Which is a thing that can happen. I am very difficult to talk to. Not because I'm inherently mean. Actually, I usually try to comfort people, and sometimes I just fail at it, okay? But a lot of people have said that they actually really appreciated my honesty, and I hope they mean that because I can't really change my honesty level and my bluntness. When I say I probably wouldn't give the best bedside manners, that is probably true. But it helps people who are going through shit deal with them shit better. Like, you're aware that is not normal, right? Is a very useful comment to make for people who need honesty and bluntness. Especially if they're in, like, a bad situation. It's better to just be honest about it than let them suffer in silence and think everything that's going on is normal. I like honesty. I've always appreciated honesty. And that's why, if I'm gonna say something about a person, I'll say it to their face. And if I won't say it to their face, I won't say it at all because it's not true. Otherwise, I will say it to them. And out loud and in general. There was one time where I accidentally streamed instead of filmed a video. That was embarrassing as hell, man. I have bad intrusive thoughts that come out when I'm alone, which are things that I don't believe are true and won't tell anyone about. Because they don't deserve light because they're awful and I don't even want to hear them. But then there's my honesty, what I will share with people. And it's like, oh, don't be a snoop, I guess, if you don't want to risk getting an answer you don't like. I actually asked my friend, who is slightly on the heavier side, she said it that way. She usually says it in a more mean way about herself, and I don't appreciate when my friends talk mean about themselves, especially when they're such beautiful people. But the thing is, I saw a YouTuber say that when you are like 50 pounds heavier than what you want, like what's healthy or deemed healthy for your height and stature, that it becomes uncomfortable to cross your legs. And I got curious to see if it differed based on body shapes too. Because some people, when they gain weight, they gain it more on the lower half of their body, and some people gain it more in the upper half of their body. And I was wondering if it was different from person to person, or if that was just a universal thing. Because I like doing art, and I like looking at different body shapes, and I need to understand how they function in order to draw them properly. in different positions. Nothing inappropriate, it's like sitting or standing. We're just in rooms. Okay? When you're on the heavier side, to some people it is more difficult to cross your legs. And it can actually even hurt a little bit to cross your legs, which I found kind of interesting to think about. And it kind of makes sense that it would be slightly more difficult, but I never had to think about it before because, well, I've never changed weight that drastically. I do weigh more now than when I was a kid, but I also am taller and more voluptuous in some areas, like the bosom. So it makes sense that I would be in the lack of knowing anything about it. You can't know every single thing in this world, but you can sure as hell attempt to learn the bare minimum of a lot of things. And I've always believed in learning a little bit about everything because people and things around me are so fascinating. People matter to me, and so do their livelihoods and their personality traits and what they do and how they feel. They matter. My brother makes me feel like I do not matter, but that is his own issues that he's projecting onto other people. If there's anything I'm glad my mother taught me was to be a little bit rebellious. Because I used to be an extreme rule follower, which a lot of people hate, that I do follow a lot of rules very strictly. Mainly delivery drivers. A lot of them really do not like me because I follow rules. One of them started annoying me about it, and so now I just kind of ignore him. And I'm like, he's a regular, I don't care anymore. Like, I only care to, like, confirm or ask people to confirm orders if they're not a regular. They've come back, so they're established as a regular now. So I don't really care to confirm them anymore. Hmm. Something I've always been able to do is understand others because of how much I've been through and how much I've seen. And one of my friends that I actually have helped out of like his instability state, because he used to just lash out a lot at people, and he doesn't anymore. Because I taught him like techniques to feel calmer or to just realize that you should not react. And the only reason I can teach people about these things and ways to calm down is because I've used them myself. The reason I can tell people techniques about calming themselves down and give them advice and real advice based off of someone who's been through things is because I've been through things. My advice doesn't come from a place of not knowing. It comes from a place of I've been there, I've felt that, and I'm here for you. Whether you're ready or not. Which is another main reason I wanted to be a therapist. It's because I came a place of understanding and knowing. A person who has not gone through much wouldn't be as understanding in my experience because they've, as much as you can empathize with people, if you've lived a good life with no like aggressor or fear that you might not be able to eat that day or be able to smile because you don't know if your parent's gonna lash out at you or react. I've never been physically attacked in my home, but I have been threatened in my own home, mainly to be put out on the streets and be homeless. Over things like not doing the dishes properly or enough or often enough. It's like, I'm sorry, I suck at them, but like, I tried. It's not like you taught me how to do anything. I don't expect people to just know how to cope. I expect people to have to be taught how to cope. Because everything in life is a teachable and learnable thing. We need to learn how to do things. We can't just know things, unfortunately. Everything comes from something. Which is why if I ever got a therapist, I'd want someone who's been through stuff too, rather than just a person who's existed and lived a happy, easy life. Because if you've lived an easy life, you don't know hardship like a person who's been through shit. Because I've been poor, I've been rich, I've been both places. I've been moved around a lot, and also have been felt trapped before. I've been cornered when two people have an argument and had to just sit through it because there was no escape. Because I was between two people who are arguing. But without talking to other people who had different lives than me, I would have never understood that that was not just things that happen. Instead of it being, that's not normal, and do you feel safe? The answer is no. I don't even feel comfortable going home anymore because my brother is there. And he is more aggressive than he used to be. A lot of people said he was more chill at one point, and that he's recently become more aggressive. In my personal experience, he's always been this way. He's just had a different outlet to put his energy into. But he's always hated women, even when we were younger. And he's always been aggressive, even when we were younger. He would never listen to women, because he believed they were inferior his entire life, even when we were little kids. Our mother might not be the best role model. I get that. But she's at least a good person, deep down, and tries her best, even if she's bad at communicating. Everyone in my family sucks at communicating. That's why it's so hard for me to understand how to communicate properly, and why I ask so much for help to understand how to talk to people properly. Because my roots were not very good to start with. I fell from a decaying tree. I came from a place of rot and destruction. And I want to do good. Because I don't want to bear the fruit of my past. I want to grow my own personality and be my own person, separate from their chaos. I want to be better than them and choose a better path. Some of the nicest people I've ever met have come from the most abusive homes. I might not have the physical abuse, but I do have the emotional ones in my family. And I might be more selfless, but I'm also much more confused on how to be good. But I try, and that's what matters. Is every day I try to improve myself, and I try to do better. And I'm willing to reconsider how I talk and how I think, because sometimes I might make a mistake or say something in a way that doesn't accurately mean the same thing to me as it does to you. And that's why I think communication itself is so hard. Because none of us truly know what we're doing. We're just trying our best and trying to survive. I feel like it's a Corgi. Doesn't this look like a Corgi? I don't know. Anywho, peace, love, have a good day, my fab fam, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!